And with that, we will get going. So thank you everybody for coming here today. This is our parent meeting for all of our swimmers who we are moving up to the Olympic Way and the JAG programs next year. And I am Jason Pratt. I'm the club manager of the Cascade Swim Club. This is Jackie Pratt. She is our head development coach, looks after the JAG Olympic Way, as well as all of our developmental Learn to Competitive Swim programs. You also have with us our bingo coordinator for next season, Vera Sear, and Ella Wilson, who is our office administrator, and she's going to talk a little bit about points and a few other things as we get going. So the reason for this meeting is so that we are giving everybody a heads up to what the 22-23 season will look like if you are in either the Olympic Way or the JAG program. For some of you who've already been Olympic Way, there's not really a lot of differences between what was happening before. But for those of you that are coming out of JOW into OW or some fit into JAG Blue, some of this will be a little bit new for you. So as we said, we've gone through who is here on the call. Myself, Jason Pratt, club manager, Jackie Pratt, our head development coach, as well as Vera Sear, our bingo coordinator, and Ella Wilson, who is here as office administrator, who is here to talk about points and a few other things. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to get a hold of people. Again, that would be pretty quick. We already know that most of that. We'll talk about equipment. We'll talk about the training plan for next season, as well as the meet calendar. And also just quickly on both bingos and how our points system works. For some of you, that will be brand new. For all of you. For all of you, I guess, that will be brand new. Okay. So starting with office staff, this is same slide from last year because nothing has changed. You will have been familiar with Jen Bathke, who is the office manager, looks after the bookkeeping. Ella Wilson, who's on that call. We'll have her talk here in a moment. Our office location, this slide needs to be updated from the last couple of weeks. It's no longer the Repsol Sports Center. The location has changed though. Or sorry, the location is same, the name has changed. It is now, excuse me, the MNP Community and Sports Center. Same location, same address. It's in Stanley Park, just south of downtown, 2225 McLeod Trail. That's where our office is located. This year we had office hours that were Tuesdays and Thursdays in person. That's changing a little bit here through the summer right away. And we will have an update for everybody for what those hours, those in-person hours look like in the fall very shortly. Communication, again, this is just a reminder for everybody and just a reminder for the groups, the families and the swimmers as you move through our program. Our primary method of communication is through email. So whether it's coming from the club in and of itself or from your coach, it is through email. And something that, again, we just put up as a reminder for everybody as you're coming through this program and the various levels, that just keep in mind the 24-hour rule, because we do know that sometimes things happen from time to time regarding swimmer of the program coach that may get emotional or sort of being a triggering event. We just want everybody to be mindful of the 24-hour rule. Please wait that 24 hours before you bring that to your coach's attention or to our attention. Typically, a lot of these things work themselves out inside that time frame, but then after 24 hours, if there is still a concern or an issue, then by all means, get a hold of your coach or get a hold of somebody in the club. Equipment and just generic statement around equipment before we pass it off to a little bit more of the technical side of the equipment pieces. Just mark your swimmers stuff. We do, particularly at swim meets, equipment is left behind all of the time. At training, it happens, not nearly as frequently as swim meets, but if you mark it, it's a lot easier to get back to you than if it is not. We will have all of our full kitting complement available, plus some new pieces come the fall. We had, just like everybody else in the world, we had all sorts of supply chain problems with our suppliers and our main sponsor, Arena. And so we were having a lot of trouble getting equipment, particularly small U sizes for our swimmers, but that should be taken care of through the summer and into the fall. Again, just a reminder, not for everybody is this new, but on Saturday mornings, whether you're at Seton or if your practice ends up at Repsol, it is a team gear session. So all of our swimmers in their caps, in their t-shirts, in their Cascade training racing suits, and whatever other gear that they would like to wear. But that's just something that we do club wide with the Saturday morning practice. And just a reminder for everybody about that.
Olympic Way, they don't train Saturdays, so they do their team day on Fridays.
Great.
So they will wear their suit on Fridays. Yeah.
Great. So with that, and just
you want me to talk about that?
Yeah, we're right into training equipment for the various groups.
Okay, so really quickly, most of the kids have all this stuff already. There's probably just a few additional items they need to add to their mesh bag for the fall. So going into Olympic Way, obviously they need cap and goggles. And normally in practice, the girls, anyone with long hair needs to wear a cap for sure. Some of the boys train without a cap, but it is good if they get used to training because with a cap on, because they will have to race with a cap come swim meet time. An appropriate training suit. I'm pretty sure, when you're especially going into Olympic Way, it's time to get rid of the board shorts and make sure the girls have a proper training suit. If you look for something with polyester, it will last a long time. And actually, if you're purchasing a Cascade suit, many of the kids train and race in that suit. And I think they hold up pretty good. So it won't be a waste of your money for sure. Okay, kickboard. Yes, they have boards available at Seton, but it is really important that the kids have their own board because from time to time, Seton has swimming lessons and we might turn around and they're all gone. So please make sure they each have their own board, training fins, proper training fins, preferably the Finis floating fin. It just has a very nice soft fin. We don't want something too big and too rigid, and please no diving fins. So the diving fins are very stiff and they sometimes have buckles on the back and they're just a bit cumbersome to get into, and they're just not really appropriate for what we want to do. We want to be able to have the kids kick quite fast with fins on. So if the fin is really rigid and stiff, that's a lot of torque on their ankle, and that's not what we want. So again, it was the Finis floating fin is what we're hope to have. Team Aquatic Supplies has everything you need. Snorkel, most of the kids have these, and this is perfect, something like this, any version of that, and it's a front mount snorkel. So sometimes you can get a side mount snorkel, and sometimes you can find freestyle snorkels, and we don't want the freestyle snorkel. So the freestyle snorkel curves around their head, and it's only good for freestyle. So we use the snorkels for fly and breaststroke as well. So it's important that the snorkel goes straight up and it doesn't have a curve to it. So we want to avoid the freestyle snorkel because it's only useful for freestyle.
Sorry, I should have mentioned this earlier, but if you have any questions or something comes up while we are talking about it, just put it in the chat and we'll come back and we'll address any and all questions that you may have if we don't discuss it throughout the presentation once we're all done. So.
And then for Olympic Way, really the only other thing Olympic Way will need is a pull buoy, and preferably a small junior pull buoy. So the pull buoy sits between their thighs, and it's just a piece of gear to help them focus on maintaining their core balance as they swim without kicking. And so you can envision some of the kids have quite large pull buoys, and it's really doesn't serve the purpose that way. So the smaller the pull buoy, the better, especially at the Olympic Way level. And it's a junior pull buoy would be what you're looking for there. Now, when we go to JAG Blue and JAG Gold, they have the same training equipment, and there's a couple of things in addition, and that would be hand paddles. And so this is the hand paddle we prefer. This is called the Stroke Maker paddle, and it looks like the colors change by size. So we want size 0, and everybody in JAG Gold and everybody in JAG Blue can wear this same size. It's not important. Like if their fingers go over the edge, that's okay. So the idea of the training paddle is not to, put a lot of pressure on their shoulders. It's more of a stroke correction tool. So it's okay if their fingers are over top the paddle. That's not a problem. So sometimes the little guys come with these great big paddles and they're just way too big for them. So that's what we're after. And parents, when you're putting the paddle together, please do not tie knots in this part. So it's just you're going to get a long rubber band like this, and you have to measure and cut it. And so it's best if there's a little bit protruding through the holes, and they basically just go on their hand like that. And sorry, I have quite big hands, so but it's just like that. And then if the swimmer needs to tighten it or loosen it, they can quite easily. So please don't tie knots. And don't cut the cord too short. Otherwise, you'll have to buy more cable. Okay, so that's the Stroke Maker paddle. You can get those at Team Aquatic Supplies. And I mean, they've been red with white tubing for the last couple of years. So sometimes they change the colors, but it is size 0 that you need. And that's for JAG Blue and JAG Gold. And then the other thing is the tennis balls. We use tennis balls once in a while. So it can be any old tennis ball from Walmart or whatever, just throw a couple in their mesh bag. And then they also need a mat for dryland. And what I would suggest is if you have a yoga mat or you buy a yoga mat, you can just cut it in half and roll it up. And then that fits quite nicely in their backpack, and it's not too cumbersome to carry back and forth. But that's just a suggestion, is to chop it in half. That's all they need. Just because they're going to be on the pool deck doing dry land, and they will need a mat for that. I think that's everything.
Okay.
For equipment. Any questions about equipment?
Let's just see here.
Yeah, okay, so the kickboard, to answer your question, Sean, the kickboard really, there are some fancy funky kickboards out there now, but I mean, just stick with the basic stuff. So, if you have a smaller swimmer, they can also purchase a junior board. They don't need anything too gigantic. We don't have to get fancy. And junior pull buoy, if you ask them at Team Aquatics and just say you're looking for a smaller size pull buoy, they can direct you for sure.
So regarding kickboard though, I think they're asking, will all the JAGS swimmers use a junior size kickboard, or will they use an adult size kickboard?
Yeah, you know what, it's not the kickboards that they have at Seton, just the generic ones, are good for just about anyone. I mean, that's what the kids are using. Some of the kids have smaller sort of like aerodynamic boards, and those are fine too. So it's not a big deal, but I would say if you have a tiny swimmer, you could go with a smaller size board, and that would work for them too.
Okay. And then Team Aquatic Supplies, yes, they'll recommend the brand of board and pull buoy. They know and have the list of our preferred items and kitting items, like training items. And just a point of clarification for everybody, these items are only available at Team Aquatic Supplies. We do not carry paddles, kickboards, or snorkels in the office. We only have Cascade branded gear, which is team kit, suits, caps, tracksuits, t-shirts, and so on. So,
And so actually, when you go to Team Aquatics, they're not going to have any Cascade logoed stuff. They'll have, just the plain stuff without our team logo on it.
yeah. Okay, so training schedule. And this is what it looked like this year and will look like again next year.
Yeah, so right now, we don't plan on changing the schedule, and this is what's posted on the website, and it has been the same now for since we've been at Seton. And Seton is a fabulous pool for these young people to train at, and we have access to starting blocks on a daily basis, and backstroke ledges, and lots of pool space, and they're quite accommodating to us. So we are really quite fortunate to have the space we do. And so, we're going again, same schedule. We do for Olympic Way, we don't have a designated dry land session, but the kids do activation and core strength for about 10 minutes before they get in the pool each day. And so that's just part of the routine. Typically a 4:15 practice, the coaches will meet upstairs and the kids come down as a group. So if you have to bring your swimmer in, you can wait. And once the coaches are there, the kids will head downstairs. So for 4:15 practice, I believe they head downstairs at 4 o'clock, which gives the kids enough time to get changed and onto the pool deck. And then on Fridays, they meet at 3:50, just because they know that some people are scrambling to get there from school. And so 3:50, and then they head downstairs and get in the water for 4 o'clock. The Olympic Way time is earlier. I have had a couple of emails from parents who are concerned about getting there on time. And we have had, over the past couple of years, a few families who typically come 5 to 10 minutes late because they're coming from a distance or they're getting out of school later. And just so you know, that's totally fine. It is what it is. And we have found that if you can make it work and you can maybe carpool or hook up with another family, share the driving, it's really nice for families to be done swimming at 5:30. You can get home and actually have decent supper together and that sort of thing. So that's the schedule for Olympic Way. JAG Blue also swims Tuesday, Thursday. They swim Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So Tuesday, Thursday, they're in the pool after Olympic Way. Dry land 5 to 5:30 on the pool deck. And so they also meet upstairs 10 minutes before, come downstairs and do their dry land session, and then get in the water at 5:30, and they swim till 7. Fridays, they have an early session. So Fridays, JAG Blue starts at 4, and they swim. They do dry land after swimming on Fridays. Sorry, I have to read this. And then Saturdays, we do dry land before swimming. So the kids meet at 8 o'clock, come downstairs, dry land, and then they swim 8:30 to 10. And JAG Gold is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, same time each day, dry land 5 to 5:30, and swim 5:30 to 7. And then Saturdays, dry land 8 to 8:30, swim 8:30 to 10. Just trying to think if there's anything. We do, I will just mention this just because up until this point, especially the Olympic Way kids, the kids coming from JOW, many of the parents have been bringing the swimmers down with them coming with them into the change room. And so we do really want the kids to travel from upstairs to the change rooms as a group. And so we prefer to do it without parents. If your swimmer is anxious the first week and you need to just get them there a couple times just so they get used to it, that would be fine. But we do like to give them a little bit of independence, get themselves changed, and be with the swimmers. And swimmers spend a lot of time together, but a lot of it is with their face in the water, and their time in the change room is when they get to know each other and socialize, actually. So they enjoy that little walk downstairs, and it's important that they do it together as a group. So I know for Jag Blue and Jag Gold, it's probably not going to be as much of an issue, but just if you can say goodbye upstairs and let the kids be as one downstairs, that'd be great.
Just a question on Jag Blue and all the practice times at Seton, and
Oh,
the
yes,
answer is
sorry.
yes. I mean, there may be a rare occasion where, for whatever reason, we've had to shift because of a pool closure or an event or something like that, but that's a fairly rare occurrence. And all of the training sessions, Olympic Way, Jag, Blue and Gold, they are all at Seton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so that's the training schedule. Let's see. Okay, so this is the meet schedule for the program, and pretty sure that we've got this correct on
Yeah,
here.
so I mean, it's
And I'll say just before Coach Jackie speaks about it, it is tentative because none of these dates are not all firmed up, much like the rest of the province. They're still waiting for confirmation from facilities and so on. So we've just put the month. We know roughly when those days are, but we've just put what is happening each month for the time being.
and so Olympic Way definitely has, you know, a meet each month, approximately. And some months they will have two, maybe one at the start, one at the end, depending on the weekends. But it is, you know, it sort of looks like what you're looking at here. Jag Blue and Jag Gold will have at least a meet each month, if not two. There were a few months this past season where we had two meets in 1 month, and there is an event called Festival. Just so there are a couple events with the word festival on them. So if you look under February, it says Swim Alberta Southern Festival, and it says QT in brackets. And so this is a meet that the swimmers must qualify to go to, and it is for 10 and under girls and 11 and under boys. And that's just how the province has designated the age categories. And so it is what it is. And that's, so, you know, Jag Blue we typically have the boys that qualify for that, and the girls are usually too old to go. And that's okay. That's just how it is. But the Southern Festival meets, you have to qualify to go to. And there are qualifying standards listed on the website. If anybody's wondering, this past June, we actually had 2 Olympic Way swimmers qualify, which is just fantastic. And we had a good number of Jag Gold swimmers there, and we had two boys from Jag Blue attend. So just so you have an idea of who will be at those meets. Yeah, that's the meet schedule. Some of them are 1 session meets. Some of them are, I know most of you to this point have done, well, the JOWs who are moving up to Olympic Way, many of them would have done Dino Cup, which was a 2-day meet. So we will be at Dino Cup again this year, which we all love. It's a fantastic meet. So some of the meets are 1 day, but when they get into Olympic Way and JAG, they start to do, you know, 2-3 day meets. If there's a 3-day meet, you know, it would be a Friday afternoon typically, and then a Saturday, Sunday. Each meet is a little bit different, as you know, and you, now that you guys, most of you should know how to sign up for a swim meet, you know how to leave notes and correspond with us that way. If you can't attend Friday, but you can come on Saturday, that sort of thing. And you guys are, you know how to sign up for meet, and you know how that works. So I think that's all we need to talk about for meets, really, I think. But
Yep. Just so you know what Cascade is hosting next year. And these are some of the events that were listed on Jackie's meet calendar. It's neither here nor there, although it'll become important as we talk about points a little bit later. Some of the meets on here are listed twice, only because we've not finalized the day And it's a difference of 1 week or another, but we are hosting the first meet that your swimmers will attend, which is the fall fundamentals, followed by the mini pro. Those are both in October. Speed and Rocky is not something your swimmers would attend. The Sandy Ferris Age Group Challenge in December is a very big meet, and that is something that your swimmers will go to, as is the Western Trans Mountain Festival. Date still a little bit indeterminate, but that will be in February or March. The Winter Fundamentals meet is something your swimmers will attend. That's on the 18th of March. The 6th and 7th of May is the Spring Fundamentals meet. And then the last that your swimmers will attend, and the last one they'll go to that we are hosting is the mini pro,
Which they all participate
which you all
in.
participate in,
Yeah.
right? And then you've got a few weeks of the season left after that. So again, this is just more of a blush of information,
Yeah.
just to give
Give
you
you an idea.
what we're doing next year. Yeah. So with that, I'm just going to pass it along to our bingo coordinator, and maybe just a reminder for everybody, you can turn your mics off. That would be great. And I will pass this along to Vera Sear now, who will be giving you some information on bingos for the 22-23 season.
Okay, hello. So my name is Vera Sear. I have 4 kids that are in the swim club. 2 are in championship, one's in JAG Gold, and one is going to be in Olympic Way. And I'm just taking on this role for the next season. This is a new thing for me. I'm going to be the bingo coordinator, and I'm going to be taking over from Lindy Kennedy. And I just wanted to pop on and just share with the parents, just so everybody knows, and just so everybody just can keep in mind that Cascade does offer families the opportunity to earn some money, some like direct credits towards your account by doing the bingos. Okay, so the bingos are all located at the Bingo Barn, which is in Northeast Calgary. There's about 49. We've got about 49 bingos for next season. So they start in September, and they'll go all the way through to the end of June. So the way it works is that you're going to be signing up for the bingos through the website, and there's either single bingos or double bingos. So for a single bingo, you'll get a $75 credit to your account, and for the double bingos, you get $150. And it's a really great way to put money directly towards the kids swimming. So you can use those fees. Sorry, you can use those credits towards anything, towards fees, like the registration fees, or towards the meet entries, or even for the club merchandise like the bathing suits. So there'll be more information coming later this summer. There are some more details now from this season that just finished that are posted on the member portal on the website. It's under the member information, and there's a tab there called bingos. So if you're interested in some more of the finer details, you can click on that and just read that for yourself. And if you have any questions during the summer or as the season gets going in September, you can just email me through that through the link on the website, or the email address for the bingo coordinator is on there, and it is bingo@cascadeswimming.com. So like I said, just kind of stay tuned for more information, but I mainly just wanted to let people know that this is an option that's coming for them. And there's many bingos, 49 bingos between September and the end of June next year.
Great. Thanks so much, Vera. And just so that everyone is aware, when it comes to bingos, none of them are mandatory. It's completely optional. You don't have to participate if you don't like, but as Vera said, it's a great way of putting money back into your account, which again can go towards any fees that accrue, any swim meet charges, meet entries, or even equipment. So, that money gets deposited on a regular basis. And once that credit is there, as Vera mentioned, it's you can use it as you like. Okay. So our next topic that we'll discuss, and we'll bring on Ella Wilson to talk about a little bit of the officiating and the points. Now, Ella does some work in the office regarding officiating and event setup and so on. She used to be the officials coordinator, and she's transitioning out of that role over the course of the next little while. And we will have somebody else in place that will be your go-to person. But Ella had been in that role for a number of years and knows it kind of back and forth. So if you have any questions, particularly over the summer, she would be your go-to person to speak to. So Ella, officiating and points.
Hi guys, nice to see everyone. So yes, when you're coming into the competitive program, we have a volunteer commitment and a point system. And the reason why we have this point system is, I'm pretty sure if all of you now here have been participating at least one or more swim meets and on deck, see what it takes for and how many people it takes to run a meet like that. You'll see timers, you'll see stroke and turn judges, you'll see starters, referees, marshals, hospitality. It takes a lot of people to per session to make that meet run. So with that, in order to get everyone on deck and to share the workload amongst all our competitive groups, we do have a point system. And what that means is this only applies to our hosted meets. Jackie had mentioned in the meeting earlier about the meets that you'd be attending in various times of the year. Those aren't hosted meets. The ones that we host under Cascade are the ones that you're required to fulfill your points with. You are, if you'd like to, work outside meets, but that isn't mandatory. Sometimes they need help, and that's up to you. So with regards to that, our point system, our hosted meets are throughout the year, and our year is broken up into generally 3 sessions and sometimes 4, fall, winter, spring, and sometimes we host a summer meet as well. And generally within each session, we host between 2 to 3 meets. And with each competitive group, in our homepage, you'll see under points program, how many points are allocated for each competitive group. And you'll see on there, starting with performance, championship, JAG gold and blue, and Olympic way, the breakdown. Majority of the points, the more senior group you are, the more points you are responsible for, because by then you've taken more courses to be at more senior levels, and the points that the shifts that you work are worth more. And what I mean by that generally is, so basically when we have a hosted meet, what happens is it's announced, you'll get an email that says our first meet will be at this date, and sign up will open at this time. And there are various shifts on there that you'll sign up for, and each shift that you work has a point value. And at this level, most of you, particularly Olympic way and JAG, and starting out new, all of your point value shifts will most likely be 1-point roles. And what that also means is there are different types of roles. There are officiating roles in which you're required to take a course. So you're certified. And then there's non-certified roles, such as that you don't require a course, such as hospitality or working a camera to help live stream, helping marshaling the first-time swimmers to their lanes. So there are various options. But when I relate to the courses that the roles that require course, this relates to, in the very beginning next year, you'll see an officiating deposit when you register. And basically that deposit will be refunded back to you once you take a course. And most of you will be taking a course that's known as Introduction to Swimming and Safety Marshal. That will be the first course that you take. And every year you take a different course. It's a very simple thing. Either you can do it in person or do it online, and it takes no more than an hour. And once you take that course, you work on deck, and you get your officiating deposit back. But once you take that course too, and you sign up for that, that is a 1 point roll. And so if you see the breakdown there, like I'll give you an example, Olympic Way needs to work 1 point in the fall session. That really breaks down to, out of those 3 meets, 1 shift. And sometimes the way it works is you may not be able to work a meet that your swimmer is swimming at, because we need help in some of the more senior meets as well. If you're able to, that's great, but it doesn't always work that way, because the points are allocated so that everyone can help out at all levels, so that we can fill all the rules for every meet. What else here? Points are in each session cannot be carried over to any other session. They're calculated so that we need all hands on deck for that particular session. So if you happen to work, and a lot of parents do, because we need lots of help, often work over and above what we need them for, but unfortunately you can't carry that over to a different session. And there is a point penalty, a financial penalty of $100 per point for any point per session that you don't fulfill. And that's not because we want to do that. It's just because we really need your help on deck. And then again, I'll reiterate, if you've been to one of our meets, you'll see how complicated it is, how many people are on deck, and we just need everyone there to make it work. So Jason has up there the points roadmap, and basically it gives you kind of a map as to how it all works with our hosted meets. It breaks down our sessions, which meets we're hosting, what kind of opportunities it is, and like what is a session. So like I said, fall, winter, and spring. And as far as the sign up, the meet and everything like that, in the start of September, you're going to get a lot of information, emails on how that all works and how to sign up. So it'll become a little bit more clear to you. But basically, as I mentioned, all it is there are a certain amount of points that you work per session that you have to meet to help us out. And that's kind of the gist of it. You take a course and you work on deck. And your first course, when you're on deck, most of the time when you start off, you'll be a timer. And it's very simple. It sounds complicated, but basically you take the introduction course and you'll be standing on the back there helping time our swimmers. And if you could work a stopwatch or push a button on a plunger, you're good to go. I think I covered it. Jason, is that it?
Yeah, no, that's it. And that's great. Thanks, Ella. And so one of the things that Ella had mentioned, and it's just important to note, is, these are the slate of events that we are hosting next year. Your swimmers are not attending all of them. But we still need your help at those events. And the reason why we block the seasons in 2 months, 3 or 4 months, or a 5-month block, they sort of vary, but it's also that you're given some options to sort of fulfill this commitment. And you'll see, as you would have with the meets that you did attend, a lot of the senior roles are filled by senior officials who have been with the program and officiating for years and years and years. Some of them may not even have swimmers in our program anymore, in particular the referees, because it takes a number of years to get to that level of officiating. A number of them have no swimmers in our program or any program anymore. And so, but they come down, and when it's a fundamental level or a novice level meet, we have to have a specific complement of senior parents who, again, their swimmers wouldn't be necessarily competing at that meet. And so, the flip side of that is that when we need a certain amount of timers, we ask and expect a number of our novice parents to come and work at those senior events. And that's how it all balances out inside of the organization.
And it may seem like a lot of commitment, but it is so much fun to be on the pool deck during a meet. And you know, when your swimmers are at that senior level, we're going to rely on the brand new ones coming in to help out too. So it's we do need everyone's help, but it's actually so much fun being right on deck and being involved in the competitions.
And even this year, during the fall, it was the only way that anybody could come and watch their swimmers as if they were there in an officiating capacity. Now, of course, that was during COVID, and that's been extinguished in the province now for some time, and will never come back again. And I'm sure we'll never have to deal with it. But it was just a unique circumstance where the only people allowed in the building, let alone on the pool deck, were those swimmers, coaches, and officials. And as Jackie had just mentioned, it's the best seat in the house when your youngster is there and in the water, is to be down on deck and that close and to see them competing. So it seems like an awful lot of information, and when you're looking at it, because you wouldn't have had to have done it yet, it seems a little bit daunting. But once you get into the swing of things, it's really not that bad, and you'll get the hang of it in no time. Ella did mention we do have a points penalty. This year it was $100 per point if you didn't fill that requirement. And then we also do have a no-show and cancellation fine for people dropping their shifts at the last minute, which is currently it's within 48 hours of the event. And that's really because it's an awful lot of work to organize, for some of our larger events where we're running 2 pools and 3 shifts a day. We're talking in upwards of 100 and odd different people per day, and close to 400 over a weekend. And so it puts a lot of undue burden on whomever happens to be coordinating all of that if people are dropping out last minute. And so none of these things are put in place, penalties and fines, in order to take money from our families, but it's just also there to ensure that we are able to run competitions, and very good competitions. We have a great reputation in Cascade of putting on world-class competitions for, in particular, our own swimmers, but also all of the other swimmers who come to our events. So that really was everything. And correct me, jump in, Jackie.
I guess I
Vera,
just
or
wanted to
Ella.
sort of wrap up. And the reason we wanted to have this meeting now is so you kind of have an idea now of what's coming in the fall. And so many times we would have this meeting in September, and then people go, oh, it's too much for our family. We can't do the volunteering and that sort of thing. So we want to give you all the information now. We also want you to know that coming out of SwimFit and out of JOW and into the competitive program, the expectation is that the kids are into this and they're going to be racing. And so, if you have a swimmer who's not sold on racing, who, you're not sure how much they enjoy it, or, it is, just so you know, what we do in practice and everything it all encompasses, it's all around racing. And so we're all about learning to swim faster and in practice and obviously at the meets. So that is the expectation, is that the kids will participate in the meets and they're gung-ho about racing. It's a big commitment, and it's as you see, not just for the swimmers but the families. So we just want you to make sure you had all the information and you understand what sort of the expectation is come the fall.
Yeah. So there's an opportunity if there's anything that you're a little bit unsure of, like more clarification on, go ahead, put it in the chat. That was all that we had to present to you. We will be going over this again in the fall. Some of these things still need to be tightened up, final dates for meets and so on. And that points calculation, again, what we showed you was the points commitment for this season. It will be different next year. It depends on the final allocation of events. It also depends on how many swimmers are here in the program. It will be more or less exactly as was shown. There just might be some slight variations come the fall. But if anybody has any questions about that, or if there was something that you had thought might have been covered in this meeting that wasn't, by all means, put it in the chat, and we'd be happy to answer that.
And just wanted to clarify also, if your swimmer is moving into Olympic Way in the fall, we do have the Olympic Way prep camps in August offered at Stanley Park Pool, and you can sign up for those. Sign up for those as open now. And then if your swimmer is going from a swim fit into the JAG program, there is a JAG prep camps as well in August. And some of the kids who moved out of swim fit, some went to JAG, most went to JAG Blue, some went to JAG Gold. And that is just based solely on age and skill level. So in case you were wondering why some were there and some were not, I don't have any other points, I don't think.
So just a question on evaluations.
Yeah.
So I think the answer to it, and you're better to answer it, is that they're always ongoing and
Well, we have online evaluations now, so we don't do in-person evaluations for swim school. You can go onto the website and view the self-assessment, and so you watch the video, and if your younger swimmer can do all the skills in the video, then that is the level you sign up for. And those videos are all on the website. You can just view them there, and then as long as they can accomplish each skill that's demonstrated in the video, then you can sign them up for that level. Hope that helps, Ashley.
Yeah, sorry, what I meant about ongoing evaluations was if they were in one of the summer camp programs, and they'd be evaluated in that 2-week camp. Question regarding bingo and points. Yes, they are different. Bingos are 100% voluntary. You do not need to do or sign up for any bingos throughout the course of the year. It's just something that we have in place for our members who would like to put a little bit of credit back into their account, but you do not have to participate. The points program is a mandatory voluntary commitment to working at the swim meet. So that is something that you did have to participate in to avoid the points penalties. Great.
If you think of something later on, everyone has my email. You can always fire off an email if you have a question about the program or equipment or training times or that sort of thing.
If it's about bingos or the points, you can email the office, or you can, the program and the information on the program is all on the website as well. So you can take a look at it there. And this video, if you needed a refresher or wanted to review something, will be online in the next 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of the night and a great Canada Day.
Yes,
long
happy
weekend.
Canada Day.
Yeah. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you.